Hi, everyone, and welcome to Be True, my podcast about the writing I love and the writing I do, and I promise I won't rhyme the whole time. I'm John Tessitore, and today we purchased a pile of dirt, originally published in Duckhead Journal. You can find all of my work at johntessitore.com. You know something? Sometimes the fight is fun. Sometimes you look out at the idiocy of what's happening all around you, and instead of being shocked or demoralized, you feel a perverse kind of glee. I know I do. Sometimes I look around and I think, okay, if this is where we are, so be it. Let's dance, idiots. And that's the mood I'm in today. Of course, I'm saying this from the comfort of my desk, where I sit every morning and write poems. Shit. Nevertheless, we fight with whatever we have at hand, and I have my poems. And so it is with a perverse kind of glee and in a fighting spirit that I read today's poem. It's a simple subject, and the title hits it on the nose. A few years ago, I ordered a dirt delivery. I was building some raised beds for a vegetable garden, and I called up a local garden supplier, and I scheduled the delivery of a truckload of dirt. Not even fancy dirt, just dirt. Shortly thereafter, it was delivered. A big pile of regular dirt. Right there in my driveway. Only later, while I was wheelbarrowing the dirt from my driveway to the garden over a long stretch of grass, that is, over a long stretch of dirt, did I realize just how stupid I was to be doing this. And that's when I wrote We Purchased a Pile of Dirt, a poem about the stupidity of what I was doing. The cosmic stupidity of it. The other day I was going through some of my older published works, and I came across this poem again, and I liked it even better than when I wrote it, or when it was first published. Sometimes present circumstances change the way you see an old piece of writing, and that's exactly what happened here. The idiocy of what surrounds us right now has given this poem a new meaning. We purchased a pile of dirt. Not that there wasn't enough beneath our feet to fill a few raised beds for tomatoes and basil, but everything new must be taken from somewhere else, and the yard was already full of holes. The burrows of chipmunks, voles, and the woodchuck, backyard pests as pernicious as beetles and spurge, and the lovely yellow wood sorrel, and from a certain remove just as beautiful, but alas, our lives are forever a shifting from one place to another. Like the tiny roots displacing decaying matter. Like earthworms delving, leaving behind the darkness we fear most, the tunnels and graves we pay good money to distance by trucking in our soil so that nothing will ever seem empty here. And we need not be aware of the bitter losses over there, where someone digs to hardpan for us, and we never have to see. Everything new must be taken from somewhere else. We need not be aware of the bitter losses over there. We never have to see. When I purchased a pile of dirt, I did so because I didn't want new holes in my yard. Middle-class John, the middle-class poet, liked his middle-class backyard. But it doesn't take a genius to realize that a hole was made somewhere by someone for my benefit. If you know your physics or your chemistry, that's Lavoisier's law. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. It can be transformed or moved, dug up, but the building blocks must exist first. In this way, the universe is a closed system, which is also the definition of economics, which is the study of scarcity. That is, how to distribute scarce resources in a closed system. That's why relatively useless gold is valuable, or diamonds, or the dollar. Scarcity in a closed system. And most important to me, it's the definition of ecology, which is the study of the relationship between living organisms and their environment, all fundamentally closed systems. That's what this poem is about to me. It's about the laws governing matter, and the laws governing the economy, and the laws governing the environment, and how they're all ultimately the same. We have what we have. If we give some here, we have to take some from there, and there is no such thing as isolation, nor is there any protection, and there's no way out. There are winners and losers in every transaction because there is no endless supply of anything. Everyone is always affected in some way. We are all always in the system. While there may be such a thing as a local economy or a local ecology, there is no local economy or local ecology outside the global economy or the global ecology. Back to the idiots who surround us. American politics and American capitalism survive by hiding the obvious connections between and among us, by claiming an exceptionalism, by claiming to be a utopia of unlimited progress, by denying the environmental impacts of our actions, by ignoring their impacts on the local and global poor, and by persecuting anyone who dares remind us that the powerless suffer. But they can't erase the truth. Someone, somewhere, dug my hole for me, and therefore has less dirt in his yard, so I could have more dirt in mine. Yes, that is the way of the world, of the natural world as well as of the man-made institutions. But we are idiots when we compound the cruelty of the system by denying our own impact. And we're idiots when we reward our leaders for reassuring us that we're somehow above or outside the system, or that the system doesn't matter to us. Because everything is important, because nothing is outside the economy and the ecology of life in a closed system. And we should do what we can as moral and ethical beings and as highly evolved thinkers to alleviate suffering whenever possible, or at least to mitigate adverse effects. We can start by accepting the truth. And that has been my goal today with this episode, to rub our faces in the dirt of the truth, which I do gleefully, with joy and great satisfaction, precisely because the idiots don't want me to. And so, in the hope that you too are itching for a fight with the idiots, and that you join the battle with glee, this is John Tessitore concluding another installment of Be True. If you've listened this long, thank you. You can find all of my work at johntessitore.com. But first, look for a simple way to need less. I don't know. Think about digging your own hole. It's probably the fastest way to shock our cruel system. And when I say that, I'm talking to myself, most of all. Special thanks to me for today's theme music, which I call E-Chord. Maybe we'll talk again, and if you enjoyed this little podcast, leave some stars or a review and support the work through the Ko-Fi account listed in the episode description, ko-fi.com/John Tessitore, and tell your friends. In the meantime, I gotta feed the dog. All right, Luna, I'm coming.